Today we're here in Kenya, here at the Nairobi National Museum. Today we're going to go inside of the museum and learn some things about the origins of man and how life started here on the African continent, the cradle of civilization. So now I'm taking you into the cradle of civilization. And in this room here, you have skulls that date back millions and millions of years. Kenya has the largest diverse group of human fossils found anywhere on the planet. And not only the largest group, but the oldest. So in Kenya, you have what's found in the Tugan Hills, a 6 million-year-old species called roaring man, or the original man. And the reason why this is important is because when we talk about evolution, we talk about a time period. Great teachers like the African griot historian Afro-Kwesi teaches us that we have lost the chronology of time. We have to regain that chronology of time. And then looking at chronology, many of us, we look at what we know from our spiritual systems like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, starting from 6,000 years. Where here we have a history that goes back 6 million years in this time span. And many people don't want to relate to this because they don't want to relate themselves to what they believe to be anything in common with an ape or a monkey. Evolution is not really even a debate anymore because we have evidence that evolution is real. What's really debated is the process that took place for evolution to happen. If you read the works of John G. Jackson in Man, God, and Civilization, it's a documented anthropological book that documents the evolutionary process. And John Jackson lays out in his book how man started and then evolved over time. In this room, when we look over here, we can go back 2 million years and look at Homo habilis. The Leakey family often get most of the credit from Kenya when it comes to the discovery of human fossils on the African continent. What many people don't know is that the leading paleoanthropologist from Kenya was an African man named Khui who discovered Homo habilis, which was found in Kenya. And the reason why this is important is because if we look at Homo habilis is one of the earliest species to develop stone tools. So we talk about the development of stone tools. Why are these Africans developing stone tools? Because they're in a time period where they have to do what's called hunter-gathering. This is where you have man going out into the wild and hunting for food, hunting for plants, gathering food and gathering plants so that he can survive. That takes a thinking process. That means now you're using your mind to develop the tools that you need to survive in everyday life on the planet. So when we look at evolution, it's not just about a monkey man or an ape man. We're talking about the development of skills that take place over millions of years, going from early hunter-gathering, pastoralism, and then going up into the Nile Valley where you have agriculture and you're cultivating crops and domesticating animals, where you start to build cities and civilizations. So we have to understand that all of this is connected, and it connects all of us into what we have today in human society. We have to give credit back right here in Kenya to where many of these things started with the Africans who were early on in this time period.
While it's important to learn from museums and books, one of the benefits of being in Africa is being able to do field research on the ground to validate what you read and study. Right now we're on our way to Kariandusi, a prehistoric site in Kenya. Kariandusi is in the Great Rift Valley, which is one of the most breathtaking sites on the continent. The Great Rift Valley, also known as the East African Rift, is where many prehistoric fossils have been found. It extends through Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Once we arrived at Kariandusi, Baba Dixon educated us on the important parts of the site.
Right now we're at a live site here in Kariandusi, a prehistoric site where they've done excavations done by Dr. Leakey back in the 1920s. And the evidence that's found here is dated back to at least 1 million years or more, showing the evidence of stone tool making. If you look right here, you can see evidence of this. This is a site that was excavated, and you can see these stone tools that exist here in this area. And you also can see, if you look at the back wall there, the layers of strata. So when we talk about excavating and finding fossils, the stratum from the volcanic activity and the time periods of millions of years, a formation of strata is where you can find the evidence of fossils that we use to determine the date and the time period that these tools may have been used or may have been made. So these are our ancestors, early Africans, not any apes or any monkeys, because you have mind development, you have innovation that's going on with the African mind of using these tools in order to develop what they need to survive in their environment.
So after the drying of the larger lake, then we had that stream which was passing around here up to, it existed around 700,000 years.
So after the lake drained, then you start to get the sedimentation.
Yes.
And this is sort of like the strata that you see where you can do the digs.
Yes. It's very clearly illustrated in our gorge down there, so you can now be able to understand how stratification had to take place within our site. At that particular period of time, the wet and the dry. So the dry is represented by this grayish kind of stratus, and it shows that the lower strata was quite much dormant. We didn't have more activities taking place, and a little bit of wetness, and then a series of volcanic activity that took place up to 1 million years.
So this is millions of years of history
Yeah.
right here in this sediment right here.
Yes.